Kyle here from All Media Reviews. I don't have a picture on this camera is starting to get blurry, and I apologize for that. I don't know if it's the life of the camera maybe coming to an end. I apologize. I need to get a new camera probably. Maybe that's a New Year's resolution if I don't do that before the beginning of the year. So I'm going to do the V's because it's a small, collection. So I'm getting through the rest of these. The W's, the X's, X, Y's, and Z's are. The W's will be a sizable one, but and then Y for one obvious reason we have in the Y's. But so the V's are pretty small, so I'll do the V's. So I only have one to show here from this artist, Mike Vennart. I have another one right here, which I showed on this. This is his second album. But this is his first album, The Demon Joke, from 2015. I absolutely love this album, even though there's not a lot of traditional guitars or something. Like he used more I know there was stuff that weren't in here compared to an Oceansize album, but it's a little bit like Gizmodery from Self in that you're marveled on how big of a sound that he got on this album. And there's just Doubt, I think it is, and the Joker. There's a couple other ones that are just he signed it too. He was cool enough to do it when I saw him the one time with Biffy. He's doing Empire State Bastard, which honestly I haven't even listened to. I listened to one of the songs, but with Simon Neil from Biffy Clyro. But Infatuate, Duke Fame, Operate. This is, look at it, must have been a kid then. It was this because he'd put out 2 EPs with that project British Theatre, of course, which I did show. I have the one British Theatre full length after Oceansize broke up. But to me, it was such a breath of fresh air when this album came out, and I think it's only 8 years old now. It's fantastic. I don't think he's put out anything as good since Oceansize ended, really. But anyway, The Demon Joke from Vennart, as he goes by, from 2015. So I've got, I think it's 2 records from this band. And my feelings about the band, a little bit like Between the Buried and Me, are not what they once were due to internal bands, differences. But that being said, these are 2 great records and sort of, it's interesting, I got the wrong sleeve here. I must have taken it out and put it in or something like that. Yeah. This is the band Vektor, who are from Arizona, I think. And they're sort of considered modern progressive thrash metal, you could say. I mean, they take a lot of influence from Voivod and a lot of the thrash bands, but they put out those 3 records in the early to mid, late 2000s to 2010s, and all of them are great. I mean, Black Future, and this is Outer Isolation. I have to admit, the cover on this album, it's a little like those Deer Hunter reissues that have been coming out. Doesn't do as much for me, and it says Dark Tranquility on here. I had the wrong sleeve. This album doesn't do it. I like the artwork, the original artwork, better, but maybe they saved money. I don't know. There was a reason why they decided to. And then the one that came out after this was 2012. And was it 2015? It was pressed in 20. I could be wrong. I think it was 2012 because this is their Black Future. Maybe in their debut. This was their second album. This is 2009. I specifically remember this because it knocked out Animal Collective. I'm pretty sure it was Animal Collective's Merriweather Post Pavilion on the Rate Your Music chart. And it pissed off a bunch of the Animal Collective fans. All those idiots on Rate Your Music that, try to get their album rated higher, the Radiohead fans and stuff like that. Terminal Redux, that's the album that I don't have. They're long records. All of these are long, but they flow really well. It's not technical death metal, but in a way it gives me the same kind of experience I get from technical death metal. It's really thrash metal with kind of pig squeals, vocals kind of things, but the guitar work, the riffs, the energy can be really good on. I know the last album, Terminal Redux, they did some clean vocals, maybe on the instrumental, but I felt like the last album was longer than even these 2, and it was a little more, but I still liked it. What's happened to them? I know they put out an EP or a single a couple of years ago, Vektor, but I don't know. When you have all this stuff that happens as sort of an external, art from artists, that kind of stuff. I like not to focus on it, but I don't know why this clutch thing. There was like a little flyer that was on first. That's put in there, like when I bought it at Agarda Records. But I try to separate the two of them, but sometimes it just never goes away. I mean, there's a lot of musicians that have a lot of horrible things in their outside their music careers, or even just within the music, people are getting pissed off at each other. I know, like, was the third Enchant album, Ed Platt, the bass player, hates because a lot of the songs were about the conflict they had with him, and he wasn't on. But I know he played a couple of the songs live though. So, all right. So then I only have these last 3 records for the V's from one artist, which they're 3 albums, and the truth is, none of these albums are really albums I love. But I love one of the record that I have as a 10-inch. This is the Velveteen. And I don't have their first album, The Fierce Parade, on it. I don't think it ever came out on vinyl, but, Elysium, which I have on 12-inch, which I showed, I believe it's over there, it's a landmark record. It's so good. But they intentionally didn't write with guitars. That was the whole premise. The basic sound of the Velveteen's, guitar, bass, and drums, and they had a lot of a Radiohead element, and I think they're from, I know the singer Jonah Nagler was on one of the Never Ending White Lights albums. It might be from Canada, but we saw them with the Minus the Bear. My wife actually came to that show. I don't know how I convinced her, but yeah, these 3 records, the last one, I know, that's all, Cum Laude is one of them, No Star, and I think that's an EP, and then, what's this other one called? This is Cum Laude right here. I mean, I almost come to the belief that Velveteen aren't a prog band, but they did prog on Elysium. That's one of the perfect example. But No Star, this is an EP. This came out, it doesn't have the year on it. I want to say this was mid-2000s. Because they were a band, like, Elysium came out in 2004. I didn't really discover them. I suggested Elysium. That was like 2008 or 2009. Maybe 2010. The guy on Rate Your Music that I don't know if he still uses it, but he recommended it. But in this album, this is maybe the most recent one. I bought it at the show. From Top Shelf Records, and it's black. I cannot read this. Oh, it says All Is Illusory. Illusory? And this is the most recent record. I think this is the album they were supporting when I saw them. This is like 2014 maybe, or 2013. It was a while back. It was at the Varsity Theater in Minneapolis. But I know, like, Lorenzo from Alt Prog Core, who loves Kevin Gilbert and just totally aligns with my taste in a lot of ways. Not everything. Had never heard them until about the time this album came out, and he just went apeshit for them. But I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'd call them. I don't even know if I'd really call them art rock. I guess you could call them art rock. They're kind of, even their artwork on this album has almost a little bit of like a Phenomena or Appleseed Cast element. You could almost call them more post rock in some ways, but they don't have like the long-winded, kind of, sections that build in, like the Explosion of the Sky post-rock. That's why the term post-rock really should be thought more ambiguous than what Explosion of the Sky is known for. Or even some Godspeed stuff. But yeah, I mean, again, they're a band that I love that one record, and I mean, someday I might go back and they're all the records. Fierce Parade actually I would probably consider my second favorite album, although it has a very strong Radiohead vibe to it. So anyway, that's it for the V's, but I will probably call it a day for today, and then have to tackle the W's, and they may have to be more than one part. But yeah, I should be able to finish this up by the end of the week and start making some new plans, start moving on when I get into a project like the King's X albums and the Marillion album, all that stuff. It's such a relief finally to get done with the stuff, even though it's a fun journey. It's about the journey, not the destination. It still is a little bit of a relief when you're finally you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're kind of moving on to something else that you're more excited about, or at least I'm excited about this Albums of the Year project and everything. So, but thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We'll see you next time.